Hey guys, we're so happy to see you here. Today we're going to talk about a topic which has been keeping all of us busy actually, because we've all been self-quarantined for the last couple of months and many of us are working from home. And that brings along quite some challenges. So we are going to talk about how to create the perfect work from home routine. And we have quite some nice tips for you. And yeah, we'd like to share them with you in this video.
If you're finding this later, like after the pandemic as well, I think if you're someone who's thinking about maybe transitioning to a remote job, this is also great to have these tips going into any kind of work from home.
Definitely.
So
yeah, in fact, I've been working from home for more than a year now, and you have too, Tiara. So we don't need a pandemic to work from home, and so we're quite used to, having a certain routine. And we're so happy to share these tips with you today. And I think it's good to dive straight into the first tip, which is about structure. And one thing I've recognized is that the best thing in order to work in a productive and disciplined way is to have structure throughout your day. So to stick to a certain eating schedule, have lunch at 12, have dinner at 5, and so on, so really eat at regular times. And also make sure to go to bed around a specific time and to wake up at the same time each morning, because it really helps you to stick to a certain routine and structure in your daily life.
Yeah, and actually I'll say, as a highly sensitive person too, I think we tend to thrive on routine or some sort of predictability. I know there's definitely times as highly sensitive people that we want to mix it up and do something fun or go for a walk or whatever. But I think in terms of your nervous system likes being able to know what's coming. So even just having a routine in general for highly sensitive people is great, because then you can sort of gear up for what the next activity is, and you know what you're prepared for. And on that same note, my first bullet point was setting designated times of the day for work and for certain activities, and using timers to kind of differentiate the start and stop times. So you want to have maybe, let's say, from like 10 to 6 or 9 to 5, whatever you're used to as your work times of the day, and have a timer go off when you're supposed to be in work mode and a timer go off when you're supposed to switch into relaxation home time mode. Because a lot of times what happens when you're working from home, or when you're new to working at home, you tend to blend your personal life and your home life with work, and it just becomes this crazy thing where you're taking calls after dinner time, or you're in the middle of the day doing something at home like cleaning and being like, wait, I'm not supposed to be doing this right now. And it just, in terms of productivity and just keeping yourself sane, I think it's great to have those designated times of the day that are for work and for other things.
Yeah, and if you're really struggling with that, something that helps me to keep that balance between personal life and work is to have a designated space for work. So to have a specific place in my home where I work, and I only work at that spot and not in the rest of the house. And yeah, you can see it. This is my office actually. And once I'm done in the evening with working, I close the door, and I really also mentally close the door to work. So I don't check my emails, I don't take calls, I really am offline. And I think that's a really good tip if you want to have this division between personal and work life.
Yeah, I think I even read online a year or two ago, maybe when I was first thinking about working from home, a tip about walking around the block. So if you're the kind of person, maybe you're transitioning from walking to work or driving to work and you're used to that commute, that you could even get your brain in gear for going to work or coming home from work by taking a walk around the block. So you do your morning routine, and then you take a walk around the block, and then you come to work. And then when you're done with work, you take another walk around the block and come home, which is kind of a good way to switch things up and also get some exercise. But so when you're talking about having a designated space in your house, and I talked earlier about having designated times for work, it's also really good because a lot of people struggle working from home when they have other people in the household, especially during a pandemic right now where everyone's home, not just you, that it's great to communicate to the rest of your household which room or even which corner of the house, if you live in a very small space. It's good to communicate to other people in the house where that designated workspace is, so that you can have like do not disturb hours or do not disturb space, so you can kind of stay focused and make sure you don't have any distractions as well.
Yeah, and that's so important to really communicate that well, that your partner or your kids also know that you're working right now and that you need time to focus, and that they're aware of that. That really helps. Something else that really helps me to stay in a good work from home routine is to put on clothes that you would wear to your office. So instead of going behind a computer in your pajama and jogging pants, it's good to just wear the clothes that you usually would wear to the office. Because once you wear your pajamas, you kind of don't take your business seriously, I feel. At least that's how I feel once I go behind my computer and I sit there in my pajamas doing all the business stuff, contacting clients. I feel like, yeah, I just don't feel as professional as I would if I wear my normal business clothes and not more serious. And it also shows in my communication and everything I do. Once you put on that suit or once you put on your business clothes and you go behind your laptop, you're going to feel much more confident than you would in your pajamas. And like, don't get me wrong, I love my pajamas, I love my jogging pants, but those are for leisure time. So for sitting on and watching Netflix all day and not for not for working. So feel happy with working in your pajamas and it doesn't affect you, good for you, but I know a lot of people don't have that. So
yeah. I mean, it's all about getting your mind in the right gear. You know, and your brain sort of associates, like, especially if you were working out of the house before, your brain associates that routine of putting on your work clothes and going to work and being at work. And you're like, how weird would you feel at work away from home in your pajamas, or going on like a job interview on the phone in your pajamas?
Yeah.
You just feel just uncomfortable. And also, yeah, I mean, I think when you're wearing sweatpants, you're more likely to like lounge and, you know, you're the activities that your brain associates with the comfy clothes is more conducive to leisure than being productive. So speaking of sweatpants, I think also a good thing to note here is making time for breaks too. And I think this is important for either workaholics and if you are the type of person that gets distracted easily. So if you're a workaholic type, it's important, because I'm like this, and this is why my computer screams the time at me every hour, is to make sure that I switch gears to take a break, even if it's for a few minutes, drink some water, use the bathroom, whatever, because when I get really into a project, I'm just tunnel vision and time just blows by and I have no idea how much time has went by. So if you're a workaholic type, definitely schedule in, you know, timers to go off on your phone or your computer or something to take breaks. And then also, if you're the kind of person that really struggles with sitting at the desk and working for hours and hours and you get distracted easily, then you could do the same thing, setting timers on your phone and working in smaller bursts. So it's not as intimidating. I'm just going to work for 30 minutes and then I'll have a quick 5-minute break, and then you sort of structure your day that way. Yeah. And then one last note I want to make is that starting off your morning with a really good activity, I think, is helpful. Instead of just rolling out of bed and going straight into work mode, I think is kind of hard on the brain. A lot of us need time to sort of wake up, and it's great to set off your day, especially if you're home now and, you know, work from home routine. You have sort of the ability to get up like an extra 30 minutes and do some yoga or have a really nice breakfast or take the dog on a walk. So I would definitely recommend having some sort of happy morning activity that kind of starts out the day on a good note.
Yeah, every now and then I actually do that. I call it a miracle morning. And I set my alarm at 5 in the morning, which is super early for me as well. And then I have 2 hours where I really slowly start my day without pressure of having to start at 7 a.m. to work, but really taking the time to just to take a long shower, to do my makeup, and really consciously start the day. And it really helps you to get into the right energy for your work day at home.
Yeah, I definitely feel more awake having been awake for a couple hours. Because I actually used to get up at 5 for my corporate job, and it was just, we would all joke, we would sit and talk at our desks because we worked in a warehouse. People would just sit and drink coffee for like an hour and a half because no one could wake up that early. But it's good to have that time, like you said, to sort of gear up for the day and start it off with something good. So
start it in a nice way.
So those are all of our tips and advice for a work from home routine that is healthy and productive. We hope you enjoyed this list. If you have any extra ones you want to add to the comments, please do let us know if any of these really work for you. Give us a like if you like the video, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our future videos.
Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye. Oh wait, that was such a bad introduction. I don't know why I said that.
Keep doing. Okay.
My doorbell is ringing.
Oh no!
Check.